Okay, I am so excited about this. Okay, so we're starting a series called Miracle Mondays, where I'm gonna be sharing testimonies from my real estate transactions and just how God is showing up and what he's doing. Because one of the reasons that I got into real estate is to tell God stories. Because my theology and one of my favorite things about God has always been that he's like such a big God, but he's involved in the little tiny details that like nothing is too small. And so he is definitely involved in the big things like buying a house, okay? If you don't know me, my name is Angie. I'm a Minneapolis-based realtor. I'm known for my iced lattes and my miracle stories in real estate. So today, we're gonna make an iced latte, we're gonna do a classic vanilla latte, and tell you a story about my recent transaction. I'm fully anticipating being distracted while I'm making this. So we'll see what happens, because like this multitask thing. Okay, so I don't even have a shot of coffee. It's probably important. Hold on, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, star of the show. We pulled a little shot. Okay, so let me lay the scene for you here, okay? So my client is an older woman and I completely fell in love with her. Her name is Carolyn, and I'm working with her and her daughter because her husband had passed away and she's relocating back to the cities to be closer to family. So Kelly, her daughter, lives in Inver Grove, and we were looking in like Farmington and Lakeville, Inver Grove to get her closer to here. And so we were doing showings with her daughter consistently, and then if we liked it, we would bring mom from Wisconsin to come look at it. So we're doing showings and we see this place and we completely fall in love with it. And Kelly says, I'm gonna bring my mom next weekend to come check out the place. Next weekend comes around and she brings her mom. This is the bourbon vanilla bean paste. So we're gonna add a little bit of this in there too. Anyway, she brings her mom and I book all the showings like the night before. We were gonna see 4 places in that area. And the one that we fell in love with, like the first time that I walked into this property, there was just such a peace to it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I would love this for Carolyn. Like it just felt so right. So that was the one that we were most excited about. Fast forward, we're about to go and I'm plugging all the addresses to do the showings. And all of a sudden I see that is marked active contingency, which means that the seller had accepted an offer and it's now off the market. And my heart broke and I was like, oh, this is like supposed to be the one, you know? And so I called the listing agent like, hey, you know, we have that showing booked that was approved now, like in 25 minutes, and it looks like you accepted an offer. And she's like, oh my gosh, Angie, I'm so sorry. I for some reason didn't see that you booked it, which in itself is like crazy, you know, because usually listing agents, like we won't accept offers if we know a showing's coming. And I tell her, I'm like, hey, I have a buyer who's super interested, so if anything falls through, will you let me know? So we went with the client, we saw the other 3 places, I let them know what happened, and then I just had this like feeling of maybe we should just go see the property anyways. So we go and we see the property, she likes it. I mentioned to Kelly, I was like, listen, if it's meant to be your property, which again, key theology for me is, if it's meant to be yours, no one can steal it from you. And if it was never meant to be ours, then that's one less decision that we have to make. And she's already going through so much transition and it's so overwhelming. And so it's like one less choice that we don't have to stress over. And her daughter was like, no, I totally agree. So I'm like, it's working for her, good. This gives my buyer time, like 3 days that she needed to like process of what she wanted to get. And she ends up realizing that she really did love the one that went off market. Well, I'm like in the middle of something a couple days later and I get a call from the listing agent and she was like, hey Angie, it looks like we're not coming to like agreement with my current buyer about the property. So it's gonna be, did I do 1 or 2 scoops? I think I did 1. So she says to me, she says, we're not coming to agreement with our current buyer. And I was like, well, what's the problem? Like, is something wrong? And she says, honestly, this is just such an unreasonable buyer because she wants us to cut out like all of the insulation and replace all of it. And I'm like, is there anything wrong with it? And she said, no, it's a 30-year-old townhouse. It's just technically not up to code, but there's nothing wrong with it. And so to me, it felt like this unreasonable buyer was like an angel who just like bought us a few days for my client to be able to process and take her time. And at this point, the listing agent is like so ready to get like a solid offer. So I say, okay, we're gonna do 1 more showing and I think we're gonna put an offer after that. She said, cool, I'm gonna keep it off the market. We show up and my client sees me and it just made me so happy. She gets out of the car, she's like, it's working. And I was like, what? She's like, the manifesting. And I was like the prayer? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, praise God, you know? So we walk through, they still love it. We're like, we definitely want to put in an offer. And we were able to put in like a clean offer. There was one in the same development that was coming on market like a week later that we were considering looking at, but we didn't like that one as much because it wasn't as private, which was super important to my client. And so we were able to position ourselves to ask for like competing with the other price, like letting her know we were gonna do that one. So anyways, we got a great deal. It was under asking price. They covered my agent commission fee, so my clients didn't have to pay my commission fee. And I get a call, I submit the offer to Stephanie, and literally I get a call within like 4 minutes, and she was like, hey, I got the offer, I already looked over it, I talked to her, and it's the cleanest offer that we could hope and ask for accepted, you know, and they're not even gonna change anything. And so I get to call my buyers and be like, we got it, you know? So it was just super incredible, because even when you think you're facing a setback, like, you don't know how God is using that for your good, because I think had it not been for that, she would have tried to like counter. Then we did inspection, and inspection came with a couple things, and we were able to ask for seller concessions, which further blessed the buyers because they weren't going to ask anything. And I was like, hey, I talked to her, I feel like we could push and get some, like, for her to cover some stuff. And she was like, okay, I trust you. So we were able to get that done, and it was just incredible. We had a short close, we closed, and now Carolyn is living in her little miracle. Just the name of my business. So yeah, just wanted to share that, and the way that God just like showed up for them, and they're obviously so happy. So if you are looking to relocate into the Minneapolis area, especially the South Metro, or you're looking to buy or sell and you are excited to like have your story written, because like I don't write these stories, I just get to partner with God and my clients and just take notes, then DM me or comment, I guess, if it's on YouTube. And I'm so excited to start partnering with you to write your miracle story. Okay, almost done with the latte. Boom, let's try it. Oh wow, that's really sweet. I did 2 tablespoons. Usually I do teaspoons, but it's totally good. Am I doing so good? Oh no, just keep playing, I'll cut it out. All right. Happy.